What's going on, guys? Zachandbro here, aka Kevin the Focal. I am back here with episode 63 of the Wonder Wednesday podcast. This feels a little different because now we are doing the podcast in video, and this is the first time I'm doing that, being, an audio only podcast. So today I have a special visitor. I have a special guest that has never been on the podcast before, and I was like, listen, we've been talking about doing this for a while, so we might as well do it now. Got my little sister Chelsea. Chelsea, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin's sister. Hi.
You want to tell the world about yourself, like who you are?
I'm 19 years old. I'm a college student, and I'm just here to, talk about some tea. Sizzling hot.
Yeah, Wonder Wednesday is about a culmination of your thoughts, opinions, and having a discussion about it. So, this is the platform and a place to have that. And I want her to have the opportunity to speak her mind on certain things that she hasn't had the opportunity to. And we have a lot of crazy topics to discuss. So we're going to just jump right into it with the Travis Scott Astroworld, tragedy, essentially. It was a whole disaster. If you guys don't know, 8 people were sadly killed during the concerts this past Friday. It was supposed to be a 2-day concert. The second day on Saturday ended up being canceled. So, they didn't have it, obviously, for obvious reasons. But the main premise of this entire situation that is so shocking to me is that this could have been avoided. I feel like there's so many checks and balances that are put in place to ensure that, concert goers have some safety. And, people that are in VIP are obviously in certain sections compared to people that aren't, if they're just general admission or whatever the case is. Right. And we have video of people trampling over, breaking over fences, trampling other people trying to get into VIP, running through the security checkpoints. Mm-hmm. It's super, horrible and horrifying to see that there was such a minimal amount of security. And even paramedics, the paramedics that were on site were understaffed and had low supplies or were low on supplies to even help the people that were, struggling for their lives. You got to remember, like in a concert setting, like I've been to an Astroworld concert. It was back in 2019 at school at Penn State. And it was crazy. Don't get me wrong. Like Travis Scott likes to throw ragers. He likes to make sure his audience is super hype and energetic and just having a blazing good time. Because obviously everybody knows his song, his lyrics. But yeah, you're going to be jumping all over the place. People are going to be squishing you. I was in the front. So I know. And even a guy, there's footage of this, I might include in the video, but there's footage of a guy that went up to the stage where Travis Scott was, and then he ran down and smashed, I'm sure he broke his ribcage or something over the barrier when he was trying to jump back into the crowd. So again, it's super crazy and insane, and people definitely get hurt in these concert settings. That's why petite women like you, sometimes it's difficult for y'all to navigate or try to get to the front because, there's so many tall guys, so many tall people. But yeah, talking about this specific situation, y'all, how do you feel? You haven't really gone to a concert before, but how does it feel seeing the headline and seeing some of the reactions about, Travis Scott, and even the response that he has made to the public?
So I've been seeing this all over TikTok and my For You page. It's honestly really hard to avoid because it's just right up in your face, But I honestly think this situation is very, very sad. Rest in peace to all the people who have lost their lives and bless their families. And I just hope that they're able to recover from this situation. But in terms of the situation, I feel as though it could have been handled a bit better, better assistance, because just the way that everything, went on, I just feel like it all could have been prevented. None of this could have happened. But then again, there's 50,000 people up in there, so it's really hard to, know if everybody's okay because there's just too many people, crowded all around. And I just don't know, man. It's just really sad. I don't know how to feel about it, but Travis Scott, I feel like his response,
I could just never imagine the severity of the situation.
To the situation could have been a bit better. You really put in a gray filter and you're rubbing all over your face like this just to feel some sympathy. I mean, people have really lost their lives, and I bet he's sitting right now in his mansion just enjoying his life while all these other people's families have to, struggle with this. It's honestly so sad to see. It's just so insensitive, and everything could have just been prevented. And people are saying, like, they're defending Travis Scott, and I get it. It's not really his fault, but at the end of the day, it's his concert. He could have, gotten, he could have stopped the concert and look what, what's going on.
People are literally, some of the clips that you see on Twitter, people are literally like yelling help. If you guys don't know, there was a 10-year-old boy that was
he lost his life.
This is editing Kevin just updating that the youngest person that attended the concert was actually a 9-year-old, not a 10-year-old. But he is currently in the hospital fighting for his life, so my prayers are with him and his family as he makes a speedy recovery. I know there's age limits, like Live Nation, for example, I think were the people that hosted this entire concert. Again, so, and that's another thing. When you take it down to even like the business perspective, for an event like this to happen, you got to really think about the layers. Like there's businessmen that need to do checks and balances and approvals in order for this concert
how did that 10-year-old get in there?
Like, I'm sure there's age limits to who can attend concerts like this. So I'm, again, very astonished as to how he was able to sneak by and get into
but
this
it's
concert.
Still very sad about how like these people lost their lives like in a concert. You're just laying there and he's still playing his music and you're just dying.
Yeah,
that's how
seriously.
You died.
No, seriously, and it was only it all erupted because pretty much many fans were trying to rush to the front of the stage, obviously because they want to see Travis up close. Nobody wants to be in the back. Obviously, if you've been to a concert, being in the back is horrible. You don't get the full experience. Yeah, I mean, depending on the group of people that are back there, if they also know the lyrics and are hyped, then it's pretty enjoyable. But for the most part, like, you're not really gonna enjoy yourself as much as others that are at the front and interacting with the artist, right? So,
but I honestly feel like if you're at the front, there's just no way for you to get out.
Yeah, and that's another thing, especially with the amount of people there. And this is in Houston, Texas, if you guys don't know. So that's the hometown for Travis, and it's again astonishing that he didn't think about, because he stopped the show multiple times, okay? But if you have to stop your show multiple times for people to get carried out, for people to get assistance from paramedics, when Drake even came out and Knife Talk was on, like people were on top of the ambulance dancing and everything like that. It was insane. Like, I feel like once Drake came, it got like 10 times worse because they really wanted the crowd to get hype and everything like that. It's sad. I mean, it seemed like a really fun event, which is the sad part about it, but it shouldn't have ended in tragedy. People were looking forward to seeing their children or loved ones to come back and return from this concert. Nobody goes to a concert to not come back from it, you know what I'm saying? And that's just like the really sad part about it, because I'm somebody that typically likes to go to concerts. I've been to J. Cole, I've been to Travis Scott. Just recently, and we'll get into this, I went to see Jack Harlow, and that was my first time seeing anybody in concert in over a year. So, it's really saddening to see. And it can really get wild and outrageous. Even just trying to get to the front of a concert can be really awkward because, like, you have to bump into people physically in order to get there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and people have been saying that although there are 8 bodies that have been found, there could possibly be more, and that's just so frightening. And just the concert itself, like, the vibe wasn't there. I saw SZA, at the beginning of the concert, and the vibe was really peaceful and calm, but when Travis Scott came out, it was just a whole thing. And I get it, like, that's his concert, so obviously it would be more hype. But at the same time, it just didn't feel right, it just didn't feel right to me. And yeah, I get that a lot of people, idolized him, like idolized Travis Scott, and I don't get why, because he's just not my taste, and that's your taste. But at the same time, this situation is just very sad, and he could have responded better. He could have reacted better. There could have been more assistance. Like, this wasn't right. Like, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. And even I'm reading this article here, and it says, Scott, obviously he's a native of Houston, from Houston. He has philanthropic projects that he provides to the city youth, and this is his 3rd annual festival. For this, obviously, Astroworld came out in 2018. Mm-hmm. But again, it's really sad to see this. Like, I really hope and wish the families of those that were lost during the concert, again, my condolences, And, you know, hopefully we can learn from things like this so that way in the future, because even Chelsea mentioned prior to doing this podcast that Ariana Grande, if you guys recall, she had a shooting that occurred.
It was like a bomb.
Was it a bomb?
Yeah, it was a bomb.
Okay. Yeah, but there was some incident at her concert, and a couple of her fans lost their lives in the process of that. And she was much more engaged, involved, like visiting the families in the hospital of those that were injured or lost loved ones. And from her perspective, she's saying that, you know, Travis Scott is kind of just speaking, you know, in video or, you know, through message notes, you know, apps and sending that out to the world and not really doing anything to provide for those families. And obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but regardless, we really need to think about the organizers that put this together and think about, you know, what can be done. Because even apparently they said that they hit the entire festival was sold out, but they still distributed tickets. He was like, oh, I snuck in some more seats or more room for you guys to be able to attend, even though it was already a sold out concert. If it's a sold out concert, that means it is at capacity. You know that? So like, why are we still allowing people to enter the concert and have some tickets just because you wanted to be a rager, you wanted to be super hype and pumped up, and you want as many people there?
Just doing all that,
it's ridiculous.
You are at risk of losing your life. Yeah. You are at risk.
People were panicking. People were, you know, falling unconscious. People, you gotta remember at a concert too, like, it's hot, it's sweaty. Like, people are all grouped up together.
It's tight.
It's tight. So you can get squished, you can get smushed. Some people were getting stepped on, trampled over. Like,
I just can't imagine.
It's crazy because when you're at a rager like Playboy Cardi and who else be doing this? Trippie Redd, like all these artists, they have mosh pits where people just really just push each other and like really get hype and crazy, right? So you need to really be aware of your surroundings when you're at a concert setting, and if you don't want to be in a certain area, you really need to distance yourself. And being that, you know, a lot of, you know, white men like to go to these concerts, you know, sometimes they get really rowdy. Some people are coming already on drugs or drunk out of their minds already.
You know what I heard?
I will tell you, one of the narratives was that some individual was injecting other people with drugs.
That someone was injecting drugs into people's necks at the concert. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I don't know.
Like heroin.
I have no idea, but that's what I heard.
Heroin's typically done intravenously.
And that's just like so random. Why would someone be doing that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It is insane. So
someone was yelling help, help, help in the crowd, and he just kept performing. Like, he just kept going. You know, it's so sad. And like, I saw people trying to get over this fence and try to, like, people were pulling people out.
This is the whole fence VIP situation was prior to anybody even seeing Travis Scott. So the fact that people are already reacting like that before they even saw him go on stage is absurd.
And I saw this video of people running at the beginning. Like,
yeah, I mean,
what was that?
That was when they were trying to get into VIP, the VIP section. When they brought that, I mentioned that earlier. So yeah, my prayers are to the with the families of the lost, you know, souls from this concert, the lost people. Let's just learn and do better. And yeah. Segueing to the next topic, wanted to talk about this Henry Ruggs III situation. I know you guys are hip about this. This is a now previous Las Vegas Raiders player, 22-year-old guy, like really coming up in the NFL scene. And if you guys don't know the story, he was accelerating at 156 miles per hour in his Corvette. And mind you, he's drunk. He has a BAC. So BAC is your blood alcohol concentration. Yeah. And depending on the laws of the state you're in, being Nevada in this case, I think the threshold is about like a 0.06 BAC to classify you as like legally drunk while driving or operating a vehicle. And he was at a BAC of a 0.151, which is already over half the amount that Nevada classifies as you being like overtly drunk, right? Mm-hmm. And he's with his girlfriend in the car. Right. And they were coming from Top Golf. I think they were just hanging out with some friends at Top Golf. Top Golf, typically you get food, but there's also drinks, so you probably overly indulge in some drinks. And tragically, as he was going 156 miles per hour, he decelerated into 127 miles per hour, hitting a Toyota RAV4, which is like an SUV, rupturing the fuel tank within the car with a 23-year-old girl inside of it, or woman, I should say. And that woman and her dog that were in the car died from this situation.
That's a tragedy right there.
So this was a fatal car crash. Ruggs and his girlfriend made it out with, I think, moderate to severe injuries. But regardless, you know, this is a young black man that has made a huge mistake in his career.
Who is he? What does he do?
He's a football player. So yeah, he played for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he just recently got signed and everything like that. I'm not really too familiar with his background. Obviously, I don't like the Raiders. I'm personally a Giants fan, but I'm eventually gonna switch because Giants haven't really doing as well as I want them to. And yeah, you know, this is funny. Typically, I don't talk about sports on this podcast. I'm thinking about incorporating it more because I do want to talk about sports more often. So let me know if you guys are interested. And again, if you guys have comments or questions pertaining to anything, or you want me to answer a question, you can send me like audio messages, or you can DM me on Instagram at zachandbro. Everything's at zachandbro. And we can talk about things that you guys are talking about. I think that is a cool little addition to have, whether it's life advice or, you know, questions for me, questions for any of my guests that are on the podcast. So, but yeah, you know, so from what I see here, Ruggs is facing up to 46 years in prison. He got some additional charges, so he's already facing 2 felony charges of a DUI and reckless driving. But he's also been hit with 2 additional felonies of DUI and reckless driving, as well as misdemeanor charge of possessing a weapon as well. He was possessing a gun in his vehicle while under the influence of alcohol.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's additional details that have been kind of through the confines that nobody knew about. But yeah, I mean, overall, what's your thoughts? On Wednesday evening, he was released from jail. He posted a $150,000 bond. But now he's on house arrest, so he probably got an ankle monitor.
I've never heard of this man in my life, but I have been seeing him on social media, and I saw the story about it, and it's just really sad knowing that the lives of a young person was lost along with their dog. I wish that, you know, this never have happened. You know, I hope that their families are able to recover from the situation. It's very sad. You know, these young people need to learn, you know, that driving at that speed is not the right thing to do, especially under the influence, you know.
Yeah.
So, really, it's all about the mindset. And
definitely. I could add myself, I had a little incident on the road. This might end up on the vlog as well, so make sure you guys are watching. I know I've been behind, by the way, on the vlogs. Trying to incrementally get back on schedule, so we're working. I'm praying by the end of the year I can get everything and all the footage that I want up, because I got some Val content, I got some gaming stuff, you know, some other things that I want to do. But again, like, I had a little incident myself coming back from Penn State a couple weekends ago. And yeah, man, I mean, it ended up with my front tire getting, you know, pretty much messed up because I kind of swerved off the road. And mind you, there wasn't any barriers or anything like that. So luckily, you know, I was unscathed from the whole situation, but it was, again, very frightening for me. And then looking at a situation like this, even young Manny, he's a DMV artist. He got in a huge car accident. He almost died. Yeah, he had blood gushing out of his mouth, you know. That same day that event happened to me. So, again, big wake-up call for me and sure for many other young people. To please be careful on the road. Have your seatbelt on. Be weary. If you're tired, pull over and take a break if you need to, especially on long drives. That's one thing I think I needed to do. Or at least if I was going to focus that entire ride, at least get some caffeinated drink to keep me focused the entire time, because I was, you know, kind of falling asleep, pulling a Kanye a little bit. So yeah, just be wary, be conscious. Don't drive under the influence. And the worst part about this, Chelsea, this situation particularly, is that the NFL has measures put in place for situations like this in case you're an NFL player and maybe you want to go out for drinks with your friends one evening and you get too intoxicated. Let's say you drove there, but you got too intoxicated while you're there. They have ride-sharing programs with Lyft. They have a partnership with Lyft. So if you can leave your car, you know, at the parking lot, lift yourself home, relax, you know, wake up the next day and then figure yourself out to go and get your car. You don't have to take your car home, you know, if you really are out of it. And that's one thing we can learn out of the situation, especially it's just in this day and age, drinking and driving is really a big hazard and is responsible for cutting the lives of so many people, pedestrians and drivers alike. So we need to make sure that, you know, we are being conscious, having a DD, a designated driver, for that particular night. If you know you're going to indulge in drinks, make sure you have somebody delegated to do these type of things. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with him, like the amount of money you have, that taking an Uber or a Lyft shouldn't be a huge problem for you. You know what I'm saying? Like $100-something, even if it was, that is nothing compared to the $1 million of contract money that you already have in your bank account. So yeah, man, it really sucks to see this, man. Like 46 years in prison, like this could have been avoided. You could still be a player. You could be playing today. Today's Sunday that we're recording this video. You could be playing for the Raiders. I mean, I don't know who the Raiders are playing against now, but regardless, it's saddening to see. Funny enough, they played the Giants today, and they lost. Luckily, it was 23-16. So gang.
And
but
Penn State.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Penn State defeated University of Maryland, which is her school. My alma mater is Penn State. 31-14. Gang. We're 6'3". Y'all are 5'4". Pick it up, man. The finals are coming soon. I'm telling you, the playoffs are coming soon.
And who are they playing?
I mean, we don't know yet. You got to see if they make it first.
I don't even watch football, so I don't know.
Yeah, she literally, mind you, she lives like right by the stadium too, which is crazy, and she is so removed and discombobulated from the whole situation. But yeah, one of those tragic situations I really wish could have been avoided. It's sad to see this guy's whole career kind of plummet from this entire thing.
Fetty Wap too, man.
What about Fetty Wap?
Didn't he get like 1738? Let me stop.
So I mean, what my sister's referring to, Fetty Wap was involved with like a huge opioid
he's a drug lord.
deal essentially. He's really, I'm seeing a headline here, he's released on $500,000 of bail after being charged with a drug ring takedown. So the opioid situation I'm talking about, I think he's been a part of this for a couple of years now, selling opioids of like cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, crack cocaine, all over like the Long Island, New York, and New Jersey areas from June 2019 to 2020. Insane. And from what it seems, the authorities have done search warrants and have recovered approximately $1.5 million in cash, 16 kilograms of cocaine, 2 kilograms of heroin, and numerous fentanyl pills. That is insane. Wow. Firearms, ammunition. Yeah, I guess since he's been removed from the rap game, he's just like, I need to find ways to make money in other ways. So let's get in the drug ring, in the drug lord realm, and see where that takes us. But obviously, you know, a lot of these narcotics that he's selling and distributing are mostly really, really illegal. So you need to be.
The man has been releasing music, and it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, he has. I mean, there was also a story. His daughter passed away. His 4-year-old daughter sadly passed away in June. So we released a song called "The Butterfly Effect," or a mixtape rather. I haven't heard it, but you know, say love you. Another story I wanted to talk about, segueing again, segue. Damori Mikula, he's a 18-year-old TikToker.
He's 18.
Yeah. He's young.
He's like 20.
Yeah, I know. He looks like he's way older.
The heck? I'm older than this man?
You are. He was born in 2003. I did a little bit of research on him. He wanted to have 3 seconds of fun on the road. He decided, he was bragging about his wealth when he got pulled over.
He ran from the police.
Yeah, so he randomly, it was a video of this, he randomly was at a red light and he just accelerated. He just took off during the red light, and there was a police officer in the lane to the left of him, and he immediately put his sirens on, started following him. He went over 100 miles per hour. And again, that is multiple traffic violations right there. You know, high speed chase, you know, going over a red light. Another one of those instances where a young black man is putting himself in a situation that he shouldn't, and you know, suffering the consequences and repercussions from that. So yeah, I mean, he's a young guy. He has a child as well, mind you, and he's a YouTuber, a content creator. he needs to be really well aware of what he's doing and being careful about what he says to the public. Because, again, flexing and flaunting your money, looking at this Henry Ruggs situation, can easily be all taken away from you just like that. So let's just be careful here and be more aware. I mean, he seems like a very overzealous, overconfident type of guy. Looking at some of his pictures on Instagram, and again, this high-speed chase is a huge situation, a huge dilemma that is going to be put on him for a while. But he set bond of $11,500 for 3 charges, so he paid subsequently on his release from prison. But again, he was arrested, after trying to run from the cops and evade them and everything like that. And mind you, he has a huge following. He has 4 million followers on TikTok, 628,000 from the time of recording this on Instagram, and almost a million on YouTube. So he has a huge following.
Yeah, I've seen this guy.
Yeah, I've seen him now that I think about it, but
he was in King Sid's videos.
Okay.
You know King Sid?
No, I don't know who that is. But yeah, man, I don't know. He's definitely on a lot of different, a lot of people don't look at him in the same way. And I'm seeing here like in July.
I've never looked at him any type of way. I never. No, because a lot of people on TikTok have mixed feelings about this guy. Yeah, they were hating on him a lot.
I'm seeing like some comment sections, like you look at views and engagement on some TikTokers and you'd be like, wow, like these people have a lot of supporters, like everybody cares about them. But then you look in the comments sometimes and it's like they completely don't mess with this individual. Like I need to look it up, but there's this one girl, she's like Mexican. And she apparently, I'm trying to remember what her name is, but she apparently has a lot of haters in her comment section saying how, like, she's Mexican and everything like that, but she doesn't want, like, since we're in America, you shouldn't speak Spanish or anything like that. But when you look at her content, it's like a contradiction of that, because she's over here complaining and saying, or not complaining, she had, like, an outfit that she did, and it's, like, 2 guitars, like, as bras, and like she was dancing to some Mexican music and everything like that. So she loves the culture and she wants to indulge herself in it. No, I do not see it. I don't even think I liked it because I just saw so much negative engagement from it. But like again, like people, maybe I can find it from search. Yeah, her name is Jenny. Jenny69. Maybe you've seen her before. But like when you look at all her comment sections, right? Like she's singing like Mexican songs like that. Take care of your son. It's trending for the wrong reasons. My deaf sister said turn it off. Like, all these type of comments. It's like, the engagement's crazy. Like, 600,000. Like, you guys can even look yourselves if you can see. Like, she has 600,000. It's blurry. But 600,000 people, like this. And she's singing, like, Mexican music and everything like that. And, yeah, like, look at this. Someone says, got this on repeat. But, like, that only has 1,000 likes. Compared to everybody else, sharing negativity about it. So yeah, I don't know, man. Being an influencer has its pros and cons. Yes, you can be super successful and get that money and get that guap, but like at the same time your reputation is on the line, and that is why, especially if you're excelling in athletics in your career field and in whatever discipline that you find success in, it's important to be as genuine as possible. And that's why I try to be on this podcast and have, guests that also share, differing points of views and things like that. So, hopefully we can all learn something from these situations. Let's not play with the cops. Let's not play with speeding on the road. Let's be safe. Let's be, courageous in our endeavors, but not so much to make us do super crazy things. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about was, like I said previously, I attended a Jack Harlow concert. I'll keep the story short. I caught the vid at a Jack Harlow concert almost over a month ago. I haven't seen Jack Harlow live, and I really like his music a lot. And it was a really fun experience. That vlog is forthcoming, but sadly caught the vid, and even my sister suffered a little bit of that. The wrath of that being that we weren't able to really celebrate her birthday the way we wanted to because I had plans for her. But yeah, I mean, being somebody that's had it before the vaccines were out, how do you feel about the whole pandemic? Because look, we have concerts still going on. We got, you know, people going back to the office and working. We have students like you going back to classes. How is it wearing a mask every day? How is it living in this world of the pandemic? And hearing about news where it's like somebody on your floor, someone in your building has been tested positive.
At this point, it's just life. It's just what I forced to be used to. So at this point, it's like nothing I can do about it, and it's just a part of life now. I don't know. It's just normal now.
Yeah. I mean, it's really sad. Life, we have to live with this pandemic. We have to live with this virus now. I think we've all kind of come to terms with that. I mean, luckily for me, I didn't have any crazy symptoms similar to what my sister might have had. But regardless, you know, I do still recommend wearing a mask. We got booster shots coming soon, so
which I'm not taking.
I'm sure they're going to eventually require for university students. I mean, because they want people to be safe. They want people to possess that and
so we have to
keep their immunity up. I mean, who knows? That's the thing that's coming into question now. Like I took my vaccine back in April, like my second dose, and that was prior to me going to my Houston road trip. And like, you know, again, like I feel like I've been ducking this virus so long, and even after my California trip, I was like, dang, you know, I could have had it there, but didn't. It definitely is when you're in a situation where you're in a crowd of people, ocean of people, and you're not wearing a mask. That's where you are most potent of getting the virus. That's where you're most vulnerable. But, you know, the whole argument of like the mixing vaccines as well with J&J, like if you took J&J now, you are eligible to get either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. Like there's no cross-contamination or anything like that between using a different one. People just thought if you got J&J, then you have to be consistent with that or any other of the vaccines. But luckily, you know, that's...
If you get Johnson & Johnson, you can take
Pfizer or Moderna, yeah. Because again, I mean, most of the the RNA polymerase or whatever it is that is used for the vaccine mRNA, they are using the same strands of the virus, or to identify, you know, whether or not the virus is in your system and building immunity against that. But yeah, you know, it's all a learning process, and obviously we've heard the variants, we heard about the Delta variant, and maybe that's what I might have gotten, because obviously that's more potent of being able to be caught by a human being. But we are still battling this pandemic and this virus. You know, luckily again for me, I didn't really feel any crazy repercussions. I say anything, zinc pills are very helpful. These help boost your immunity. Zinc, iron, make sure you're taking your daily vitamins. I think that's like one super important thing on top of, you know, getting vaccinated. Exercising, make sure you're drinking lots of water, hydrate yourself, and just be, you know, try to be as physically active and taking care of yourself. Make sure you're getting some sunlight, getting your vitamin D. I sometimes find myself cooped up when I'm at work, so it's nice to kind of go out and smell the fresh breeze in the air and get some of that sunlight tingling on my melanin. So yeah. Anything else out of the pandemic? I always end up putting the pandemic and COVID in my podcast, but like, if y'all know, when I relaunched the podcast, like, or not even when I first relaunched it, because I started this back in like 2018, but like we were talking about the pandemic through the whole pandemic, and there were just so many changing news and topics and opinions, and now we're at that like stalemate where everybody, you either get vaccinated or you lose your job, like type of situations, or if you get vaccinated or you can't go to class or you can't attend college, all those type of things. Now they want health records, for example, for you. They want immunization requirements, things that are really important to look at for colleges. And previously they didn't even ask for. I remember I didn't have a requirement where I needed to give immunization forms, and now that's a requirement for college students. So, yeah, man. Again, we had a lot to talk about. These were the main general topics. We're going to jump into and segue into our music session of the podcast. Again, I'm very behind on some of the music because I haven't done this podcast in a little while. But I have a lot of things I wanted to talk about. Real quick, we're going to start with Young Thug Punk. Anthony Fantano gave this a low score. Unfortunately, he gave it like a 3 or something like that. But I really enjoyed this album. Fifth Day Dead and Love You More with like Nate Russ or whatever his name is. Really amazing songs. I really enjoyed those a lot the most. I didn't really like Bubbly too much with, what is it, Drake and I think Future. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah, definitely wasn't really feeling those songs, or that song in particular. J. Cole went off on one of the songs, but again, I think in contrast with the entire album, it wasn't as appealing. Yeah, I mean, check out Punk. I think it was a pretty good album. I think Young Thug was a lot more introspective in that album. Next thing I wanted to talk about was the Summer Walker Still Over It. Obviously, like, that was the highlight this past Friday of music. You know, if you guys know Summer Walker, she's like the breakup queen, talking about you not needing men, that you should be independent as a woman, that you should be taking care and getting to your bag as a woman. You don't need another man. You don't need to live in this hypergamous world. Yeah. Your thoughts on the album, being that you also listened to it?
The album, Still Over It.
Hey, I have to say there wasn't much creativity in the naming of the second album. I have to say, like, we had Over It, then we have Still Over It. Like, what's the deviation? What's the contrast here?
She's still over it. Yeah, because she had a narration by Cardi B and
and Sierra. She had a prayer at the end with Sierra, which was very nice. It was very nice. I have to say, I had to put the volume up a little bit on that because I was like, she's really speaking facts. You know, giving, getting mercy from God and being able to kind of push through your struggles and be as resilient as you possibly can.
And like another thing, as the song with JT, X for a Reason, a lot of people were hating on it, but I personally liked it, even though it's not really, you know, the usual songs that she makes. Usually her songs are a lot more slower and more, I don't know, just a slower vibe, but this one was a lot more
upbeat,
high-paced, or fast-paced, I mean, and yeah.
More cadence. Yeah. Some of the other songs I like Reciprocate a lot. Insane is cool. We also had Pharrell was on here.
Dirk was nice.
The Little Dirk is nice. Toxic was also a really cool, catchy little melody and tune. I really like the subject matter of that song as well. So, you know, big ups to both of them, and I like their collaboration. The song, X for a Reason with JT was really nice as well from City Girls. Yeah, I was saying when I was in the car, I was like, this could be like a TikTok dance. I mean, somebody might end up making a dance and a trend out of it. Unloyal with Ari Lennox. So a lot of people don't like Ari Lennox for some reason. They don't like her singing, her style, her representation. But I think she was a little bit of a standout on this track in particular. You know, she really gave us some vocals, gave us a pretty good, catchy chorus as well. And again, she harmonized really beautifully with Summer Walker here. So definitely enjoyed that as well. I do need to give this album another listen, so I may give my 2 cents on it again. But again, you know, a lot of the girls were ready for this one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the women really enjoy this tune, and you know, I'm hoping for continuous success for Summer Walker. You know, being all the things that she's went through, and even she put a comment on her Apple Music as well. Like, she put a statement of learning from her experiences and not making the same mistakes that she has, relationship-wise, but also personally.
Yeah, she dragged London on the track by the neck.
Yeah, I mean, they dated before, right? Yeah, so, again, wishing the best for her. I know she had to address a lot of drama with even her friendships as well. Like, people that she's trying to distance herself from, but still tried their best to be in her forward view. But yeah. While we're here, I just realized that Corbin, who is aka Spooky Black, okay, this is one of my favorite artists growing up as adolescent, because he has a lot of really atmospheric, reminiscence, like, honestly, goosebump, like, inducing music. If you guys ever heard the song Without You from Spooky Black is one of my favorite songs of all time. I really enjoy that song. It's so reminiscent. It's so, like, dreary. It really puts you in, like, a mood. And he's back. He's back after the Mourn album in 2017, which was pretty nice. You know, Ice Boy is a really cool banger, and some of the songs in there. He's back with an album called Ghost with Skin. I need to listen to this. I haven't listened to it yet. But the song "Tell Me" has a really, really captivating music video, which I really enjoyed. But again, I need to give this whole project a listen. I think I'll give another in-depth review of it later. But yeah, please go check out this new album, Ghost with Skin, from Corbin. He has some really amazing, music. Even he has a song like about DJ Khaled or whatever. Like, my son is DJ Khaled. I think he removed that project from. Oh no, he still has it here. The Leaving project, but it's under his moniker Spooky Black before he changed it to Corbin. DJ Khaled is my father. That's another really amazing song. Take the blame so I don't have to. Yeah, I could go on a tangent about Corbin, aka Spooky Black. But moving forward, we also had Mac Miller re-release Faces. If you don't know, Faces is his album that released back in 2014 at the age of 22. So amazing. Can be a psychedelic / fusion of like confusion, essentially, because he's talking about life and death, him, taking an overabundance of drugs, pills, smoking tons of weed. So, it's a really great story and timeline about his life. Angel Dust has been a standout track for me, even though the chorus can be a little wonky and weird with the way it's produced. It's still very interesting. And I'm really enjoying going back to it and now having it on streaming platforms, because I was just listening to it on Spotify. And yeah, I got another standout track in that album as well, or standout tracks that we have from Faces. Angel Dust, obviously, Here We Go, amazing, talking about, not he being at the level of success that he was in 2014 without a Drake feature. Yeah, all these type of things. And also, my favorite song of all time in that album is New Faces V2 with Earl Sweatshirt and Dash. Man, Dash, very underrated, probably the king of underground, now that I'm going into his array of music. But yeah. By the way, if you guys know, I'm very biased, so a lot of these things are going to be hip-hop, so just letting you know. You can always skip over if you want to. We also had Cordae. Did you listen to Cordae Super? That song?
I think a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to put a snippet on. Quick snippet. I typically don't do snippets.
Bullshit bitches and dope boys. I'm from the south side.
That is definitely not it. There we go.
Last year I made 7 million, then had to do a single fucking show. Shout out to my niggas.
So what you think about it? Because this is his kind of comeback after a big hiatus after The Lost Boy came out, and his disbandment from YBN as well.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I give it to him. He's very talented, very lyrical.
He's from our area too.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed this. It's a good comeback from him. Been on my rotation for sure. Also, I meant to say this after speaking about Mac Miller Faces being on streaming platforms. A$AP Rocky has also re-released his Live Love ASAP mixtape. When I was in middle school, this was one of my favorite mixtapes to listen to when I was listening to music on my PSP and my old little iPod Nano that I had. Boy, oh boy, this is one of my favorite mixtapes. The first 4 songs, Palace, Peso, Bass, and What's Up, which is my favorite song, those just are all bangers, back to back to back to back. I also, funny enough, used Houston Old Head on one of my vlogs. You can go figure out which one it is, because you probably don't watch my videos. If you're not, follow me, subscribe, youtube.com/zachandbro. But yeah, it's a great mixtape. I'm so happy to have this on streaming platforms as well. And just re-listening and reliving and reminiscing back on the times that I was listening to this project. Music is so amazing and invigorating, because it can really put you in a certain muse that you were at that time that you first listened to that track, or were listening to that track, multiple times. So yeah, really enjoy that. Encourage y'all, if you haven't listened to it before, to go back and listen to it. It is not a new album. It's not a new project. People were like, oh my God, this new Rocky's fire. This is not new. This is not new. I was listening to these songs on Spotify or SoundCloud just to get back to the tune and melody. Moving forward, we also had Don Toliver, Life of a Don. Don, did you listen to that?
Nah.
Don Toliver is nice. I really like his vocal. Like when we first heard him on Travis Scott's album, Astroworld, again, blew me away. And even hearing him on Moon and on Donda, which I realize I haven't even spoken about on this podcast either. Man, he really put us in a different world with that song. So it was cool. I mean, it was a cool little project. I really like What You Need, the one of the lead singles that were coming out from this. But yeah, you know, it was alright project. Do need to listen to it a little more and give my 2 cents. Post Malone came out with a new single with The Weeknd. Over Right Now. What you think about that? Did you give it a gander? I'll put a little snippet of it for my sister since she hasn't listened to it. It's pretty good. I really enjoy it. Pretty cool little hook. You know, The Weeknd always come with the vocals. It's more melancholic. Again, it's just a vibe. I really like it a lot. You know,
seems like something you would listen in the car.
Yeah, you know, vibing in the car late at night, chilling with your friends. Yeah, really enjoy that. I love it. Another recommendation for y'all. Adele also came with Easy on Me.
That was an amazing song.
Amazing.
I give it to her.
Yeah, she's back. I'm ready. I'm ready for 25.
It's been like how many years? Like 5 years.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since, you know, Hello and everything like that on, was it 23? I forget which project. She names her projects by, like, I guess her age at the time that, yeah, she was. So 25 was the one with that. I think this next one is.
She made one at 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How old is she?
She's 33, 34, 35, 1 to 3.
She's been doing this for a long time.
She's been doing it for a long time. Yeah, Adele is very talented. I really love her. She's 33. Yeah. So her next project, I think, is supposed to be like.
Yeah. She's the type of person that everybody just loves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and we have a lot of other stuff. Joyner Lucas has another song, Duck Duck Goose, which is pretty catchy as well. I like the music video for that a lot. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. Amine has a new album, 2.5. It's been a minute since 1.5. Bless me, because she doesn't say bless you. That 1.5 had songs like Reel It In. I had the bag, tell a friend. We have 2.5 now. I really need to give this a full listen. I'll give it an in-depth review later on. Yeah, I think that's most of the songs and stuff I wanted to cover. Obviously, I wanted to talk about Certified Lover Boy and Donda and all that stuff, but wasn't able to get to those. Even Isaiah Rashad's The House is Burning as well, which I have on repeat, specifically HB2U. Happy Birthday to You, I think that's what it stands for. One of my favorite singles for the year, for sure. Yeah. With that, we're going to transition over to the gaming section of this podcast. I'm going to keep this real quick. We have a new Arenas map. Pretty cool, pretty fun for Apex. Apex Season 11 is here. We have Ash, which is the new character. She is pretty dope little legend. I really enjoy her powers. Her passive is marked for death. She can mark death boxes to see where the location of other players are on a team. She has an arc snare, which is pretty much like an arc star, but it tethers to enemies, and she also has a phase breach, which is almost similar to Wraith's portal, like phasing portal, but it's a one-way portal to a targeted location that she slashes to. Wish it was a little further with how far you can propel that ability, but again, really cool. Biggest part of this update is the new Storm Point map, which is amazing, phenomenal, really big, spacious. But I really hate the whole sound issue that we're having in Apex, where you cannot hear footsteps sometimes, and I feel like we're getting third party like every so often on this map. It's pretty crazy. We also have a new weapon, the Car SMG, takes both heavy and light ammo, which is pretty cool. Functions almost like an R99, but with R99, it does more damage from what I hear. And with that, special capability that it has. Yeah, they made some changes to the R.I.P and AP system. They also buffed Watson. I think her hitboxes has increased in size to compensate for the removal of the low profile in the Legacy update, from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, the Pylon also increases your armor over time a little better, and she is also able to put, I think, more fences as well, from what I'm hearing. And also the damage of them has gone up as well. So yeah, huge buff to Watson. Hopefully she's used in play a little more often, and I have seen her in play from the games that I've had. We also have a new hop up, dual shell. They reduced the fire rate of the evade from 2.1 to 2.0. They buffed the Peacekeeper from what I hear. They decreased the choke time to 1.5. From 1.5 to 1.25. Again, really small little things. I'll probably put a list in the description of certain things. They also reduced the barrel effectiveness at all rarity tiers for the L-Star. The L-Star is really annoying, especially on arenas. Significantly reduced the projectile collision size, and the damage reduced from 18 to 17. Again, not really huge. Even the dev note says the L-Star has been a force to be reckoned with this season, so taking a big swing, hitting its projectile size and damage in an effort to bring it down a notch. I mean, whatever. It's whatever. I'm also been playing a lot of Demon Slayer, the Kimetsu no Yabai Hinokami Chronicles. Really fun. I just recently got it last week. Pretty cool game. Enjoying that. Different controls from Naruto Ninja Storm. Blah, blah, blah. Riders Republic is also a really cool game. I'm trying to get into possibly. It's $60 though. It's a Ubisoft game. Might want to get it on Black Friday because that joint too expensive. Anyway, that is gaming. Don't want to keep Chelsea bored over here because she does not understand any of this lingo. So we're just going to go ahead and segue over to the last section of the podcast, which is TV shows, movies, and anime, y'all. Squid Game. What's your thoughts about Squid Game? Biggest grossing Netflix movie or TV series ever. People loving. I'm forgetting her name, but yeah, give me your thoughts.
It was definitely overhyped. That's one thing I will say. Like It was good, but overhyped. Yeah, in my opinion. And
what about the plot? What did you think about the plot? And also the games that have stemmed off of it, especially like on Roblox. Now we have Crab Game.
The plot was interesting. Very interesting. It's just really sad to see what people are willing to do for money while these rich people are like, just sitting back.
Spectating.
And yeah, I just wish that it could have gone a different direction. Like, these people did not deserve to die like that. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, surprisingly, it's getting a season 2, and yeah, the game just keeps on going. Yeah, because there's like another person, like after all those people were killed, they're doing a new game.
They're selecting more people and playing the game with the envelopes. Yeah. Again, and the whole hype now with Ho Young Jung was big. Like, everybody's like, oh, she's so pretty, so attractive, so amazing. Mind you, she's been making movies and on like Korean drama shows for a while now, and it's like now people are giving her colors. Even on Vogue, she had like a little makeup tutorial that she did, and like it just started getting like millions and millions of views after Vogue changed the title of like, Squid Game star Ho Yeon Jung gives us her daily like makeup routine or whatever. I think it was a skincare routine actually. But again, beautiful cast. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Overall, I think episode 2 was like the most important episode, being that they let people, like, they selected whether or not they wanted to continue the game. They say no, and they go back into the real world, realize how horrible their lives are, and we're like, might as well go ahead and take a life or death chance of this money. And they do that, and most of them lose their lives, unfortunately. But again, it teaches a lesson of how greed, anger, frustration, and even circumstance in your life can push you to do things that you yourself wouldn't have never imagined. So Squid Game, I'm happy I watched it before it got super hype, like before it was number 1 on Netflix. But man, it was definitely a revolution and had people at the edges of their seats watching this show. The games are very interesting and intricate, and has created games out of it, which is amazing. Maybe one day on stream I'll do a crab game. Maybe invite the siblings like Chelsea on there, so that'll be cool. On My Block season 3, thoughts, opinions, or was it 3 or 4?
Yeah,
season 4. Yeah, that's crazy. 4 seasons of the show.
It could have been better.
I definitely don't want to spoil too much because there is some tragedy that strikes in this season, sadly. But But yeah, I mean, thoughts overall. I mean, I feel like it could have ended a little better.
Yeah.
Again, Ruby and
Jamal and Abuelita, they both carry the show.
Yes, Abuelita. Oh my gosh.
Abuelita.
Yeah, there's another story about that as well that we don't want to spoil.
They're the main characters.
They really carry this. Jamal is very outgoing. Abuelita is just hilarious. It's shares a lot of life inducing stories, especially to Ruby being that's her grandson. But I think this season wasn't that bad compared to the other ones. But I feel like the writing and the plot of this can get a little spotty with
Caesar.
Yeah, especially with Caesar.
It was too his acting was a bit dramatic for me.
Yeah, he really tries to be a tough guy when in reality he's just a normal teenager trying to fit in and such. And
it was so crazy.
A lot of love triangles with what's her name? Sierra Capri's character. I forget her name.
Mo, something like that.
Monse, yeah. Yeah. It was alright. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a cool little show. Cool little life lessons. Can get a little sexual and weird, but again, what is a show without that nonsense? The Shy season 4. I just recently finished this. Wow. I mean, this show is pretty cool. I really enjoy it. Shout out to Brady for getting me into it, my roommate from college. Boy, oh boy, this show can get pretty intense and crazy. Lots of things because especially season 3 was a focus on, how predators are in terms of kidnapping people, and the type of torture they put people in, and someone miraculously coming in to save them, but also corruption as well, and how people of power can sometimes take that power too far, in the ways that people end up being cutthroat and conniving to them because of that. But boy, oh boy, this is a very edge of the seat type of season as well. So if you haven't watched The Shy, highly recommend. There was some drama that went into the show that ended up completely changing and restructuring the way the show is from season 2 to 3. So yeah, it could be a little weird if you are looking at it from that lens, because it's season 2 to 3 is how did this happen? Without me spoiling it, obviously. Power Book 2. I don't know if you're huge on Power, but I love Power. Tariq is back. It's time to see what's going to happen to him after his incident in this in season 1. And even it's funny, even book 3 though, Raising Kanan. I still need to watch that. So lots of things to watch. And The Circle season 3. I finished that a couple weeks ago, and I enjoyed it. I love the winner at the end. I mean, they didn't seem as emotional as I thought they would, so it was kind of underwhelming. But again, it was really cool, and I love the upbringing and kind of the way people meet each other when they get eliminated and all that. And also the diversity of the games as well. They had a clown in the game. They had, a secret influencer, special powers and stuff like that. It gets really cool. This season was pretty dope. But I say my favorite season will always be season 1 with Joey and Shabam and all them. Yeah. Anything else on your mind? Any other shows you're watching? I heard you were watching Maid on Netflix. Yeah. How's that?
It's pretty heartbreaking. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but I do recommend watching that show. It's definitely worth it. And yeah, it's just about a girl, trying to make a world or a life for her daughter because they don't have much. And yeah, it's just
living on food stamps, a struggle, living in a multi-room home with other people, and a shared home,
an abusive boyfriend, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Cool. Anything else you're watching?
I want to watch Grey's Anatomy. I haven't watched that yet. There's a new season out.
Okay.
And All American, there's a new season.
Really? Season 4? Season 4's out?
Yeah.
When did it come out?
A week ago.
CW. Okay, I need to. Yeah, I need to watch that. Yeah, All American. We've talked about All American before on this show, so
they're
definitely
quick.
They're quick. Yeah, I mean, they're working as they release the season. They're working on the next one. That's how it is for TV shows, anime, movies, all that. Cool. Well, we're going to cut things there. We're about to hit the hour mark. Chelsea, I want to thank you for coming on and listening to my boring spiels in between the podcast. She's been wanting to come on here for a little while, so I'm happy. And this is the first time that we're doing a video for this podcast. Eventually, again, I want to have my guests physically here and making this like a reality type of thing. So we're going to try to be more consistent. I always say this, y'all. I know it's been 5 months. I know y'all missed me. Probably not. But still, appreciate y'all still coming and listening regardless, and checking in and whatever else. And yeah, man, thanks y'all for being my guest this week. Guys, if you want to follow and find her, where can we find you? Or do you care to, I mean, you can promote yourself.
Yeah.
It's like Hot Ones.
I'm an artist. Check me out. Capital C. He gonna put it in the description.
You spell it for them because they don't know how to spell. They might think capital. It's not capital.
Capital C. C-A-P-A-D-A. C.
C.
Capital C.
C.
It's not
C.
even. Do you want to see?
Okay. Yeah, make sure you check her out. You guys know where to find me at zachandbro everywhere. Thank y'all for taking the time to listen. And yeah, man, follow me there. And again, I'll be streaming on Twitch, y'all. So if you guys really want to, stay in rotation with me, see me live on Twitch, put your notifications on. Because I frequently am streaming Apex, Valorant, and any other games. Because I am trying to be more of a variety streamer, but also to try other games. Because there's just so many games to play. So it's like I really want to give myself a good wide spectrum on my palette. Again, y'all, appreciate you coming on. Thank y'all for listening. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace and hair grease. Hair grease.
No, my clip no nigga paper, but my clip filled up with lead. You could catch me with your chicken head, but I ain't get her no bread. I just talk to the street, they hit me back, said it's a bet. I hit the block, then I collect. Soon as I wake up, catch a check.